Alright, Shalom. This is Hara 1 by Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Harakak Wadash, Ma'amah. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. And Shalom to you, Akim, and Agwatim and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. There's going to be a quick edification on a topic dealing with the Samaritan woman at the well. All right. Yeah, it's a hot topic because a lot of people believe that she was an Israelite. Some people don't. Which it's clear that she's not an Israelite because the way the Lord kind of rejected her. And I'm going to prove that according to the scripture. And going to the history dealing with Jacob's well, and the Samaritans. All right. So let's get into it. So let's start from John chapter 4, and I'm gonna start from 1. All right. When therefore the Lord knew how the Pharisees had heard that Yahushua made and baptized more disciples than John, though Yahushua himself baptized not, but his disciples, right? Because Yahushua didn't baptize. He was baptized in the Spirit, and he baptized more people than John through the Spirit, all right? So that's what John meant by he must decrease and the Lord must increase, all right? And the spreading of that Spirit, baptized in the Spirit of fire, of truth. It says he left Judea and departed again into Galilee. All right, so Yahushua left Judea and departed into Galilee. All right, so let's get this real quick. Now you see Judea right here, and he was going towards Galilee right here. All right, but he didn't go this way, he went this way. So it says here, he left Judea and departed again into Galilee, right, where he was from. And he must needs go through Samaria. So he had to go through Samaria to get there, but he was trying to go to Galilee. All right, that was his focus for the next mission. All right, it says, then cometh he, because he was going to go to Galilee and show some miracles there. All right. I always say the prophet is not without honor except in his own country. So he had to go to Galilee to perform the next works. All right. First, the water turned into wine. Then he healed the Galileans' child. All right. Those are the first few miracles. So anyway, let's stick to the point. And he must needs go through Samaria. All right, so from Judea to get to Galilee, you got to go through Samaria. Then cometh he to a city of Samaria, which is called Sychar, all right, or Sychar, and it's right here up under Shechem. You see that? And this is important to understand the woman at the well, the Samaritan woman. All right, because she was a heathen. I'm gonna prove it according to scriptures. All right, so this where Yahushua was at, Sychar, also in the land of Shechem, which was given to Joseph, all right, by Jacob. All right, Jacob bought that land, the land of Shechem, or plot of land. So that land Sychar. Let me see something real quick. Here you go, right here. Jacob's well, Joseph's tomb, because Joseph was buried when Joseph died, they buried his body on the land which Jacob gave to Joseph. All right. Jacob's well is also there, Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal. So let's keep going. So this is where it happened at. All right, approximate, most likely. Then cometh he to a city of Samaria, which is called Sychar, near to the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. All right, so it's near that parcel of ground that he gave to his son Joseph, in Shechem. So let me get this real quick. Let me get Genesis 33 and 19. Genesis 33 and 19. And Jacob, 18. No, 17. And it was when Jacob was, Jacob showing kindness to Esau, all right? Now it says here, and Jacob journeyed to Succoth and built him an house and made booths for his cattle. Therefore, the name of the place is called Succoth, all right? You see Succoth over here, right here. So that belonged to Jacob too, over there, that land, some of that land. Now, it says here, and Jacob, it means booths, okay? And Jacob came to Shalem, a city of Shechem, all right, which is in the land of Canaan. And that the land of Canaan is basically Samaria, all that area over there. That's Canaan right here. It's also called the Levant, all right? So that's the land of Canaan, all this area right here, okay? And the plains of Sharon and, you know, all of that area up in there. So, where was that? It says, when he had came from Padan Aram, do they have Padan Aram on here? Nope. And pitched his tent before the city, all right? And he bought a parcel of a field where he had spread his tent at the hand of the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. And he erected an altar and called it El Elohe Israel. That is Yahweh, the power of Israel. All right. So it'd be Allah, it would be Yahweh, or the power, Allahayim, Yasha Allah, right? Yahweh and the powers of Israel. So, with that being said, so that's when Jacob bought the land, all right? All right, so Jacob bought that land over what's called Shechem. All right, so now, let me get this real quick. Where was it? Okay, I'm gonna get one more. Genesis 48 and 22. These got some precepts right here. I'm just running through them real quick. Genesis 48 and 22. All right, because we'll get some understanding of how that land was given to Jacob by the Most High, and Jacob bought it. And that's why that woman said, "Our father Jacob built this well." And I'm gonna get some understanding on that as well. Even though it's been, mostly taught before, I'm just going in depth in a, historical manner as well. All right, so 48, Salaki. Be 48 and 22. So this is Genesis 48 and 22. And it says here, the 21, and no, I'll start from 20. And he blessed them that day, saying, "In thee shall Israel be blessed," saying, "Yahweh make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh." And he set Ephraim before Manasseh, right? Because it's talking about Joseph, one of the sons of Israel. But the blessing that was given to Joseph was put on his two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. And that land over there, which is called Samaria, was given to Joseph. All right, Joseph gave it to who? Ephraim and Manasseh. That's why in the scriptures, in the 9th century, 900 BC, 8th century BC, and all that, all up to the 7th century, where the northern kingdom fell to the Assyrians, they had the Ephraimites and Manassites had that land up there because it was given to them by Jacob. All right. So partials of land, but it was really coined as Samaria under what was his name, man? King Omri. All right, he's the one that set up his capital there in the 8th century. I think it was 885 BC. It was King Omri of the Ephraimite tribe. He was wicked, and he built his capital there in that land. All right. So now let's keep going. So that's how we got that area. It's called Samaria. All right. So what was that for? Now it says, and Israel said unto Joseph, Behold, I die, but Yahweh shall be with you, and bring you again unto the land of your fathers. Moreover, I have given to thee one portion above thy brethren, which I took out of the hand of the Amorite with my sword and with my bow. So he gave him extra land, extra parcels of land. And Joseph gave that land to Ephraim and Manasseh. All right. So now let's get one more. Get Joshua 24, 23. Basically saying the same thing, but check this out. Joshua 24, 23. All right, so it says here. Yep. 23. All right, make sure I got it. 24, 23. And it says, Now therefore put away, said he, the strange gods which are among you, and incline your heart unto Yahweh the power. All right, let me see. No, this ain't going in the way I want. All right, here it is. It should be really verse 30. I'll start from 30 to get to the point. And they took him and buried him in the border of his inheritance. And in the border of his inheritance, Timnath Serah, which is in the Mount Ephraim, on the north side of the hill of Gaash. And Israel served Yahweh all the days of Joshua, and all the days of the elders that outlived Joshua, which had known all the works of Yahweh that he had done for Israel. And the bones of Joseph, all right, which the children of Israel brought up out of Egypt, because they try to say they put Joseph in a tomb, in a coffin and all that. I think they embalmed him, But anyway, so he was brought up out of Egypt, and they buried Joseph's body in Shechem in a parcel. See, that parcel of ground which Jacob bought of the sons of Hamor, which is the father of Shechem, for 100 pieces of silver, and it became the inheritance of the children of Joseph. All right, so that's why that woman at the well kept saying, our father Jacob had this land, and he built this well here. All right, so that was over there near Shechem, which is also known as Sychar, all right, where the well is at. Okay, so with that being said, let me get this real quick. All right, so now this is 1 Kings chapter 16. I'll start from 21. Then were the people of Israel divided into two parts. Half of the people followed Tibni, the son of Ganath, to make him king, and the half followed Omri. All right, and Omri wound up winning. Okay, as a position of king, but he was wicked, Ephraimite. But the people that followed Omri, all right, he was ruling around 885 BC, and I think this happened around 880 BC. But the people that followed Omri prevailed against the people that followed Tibni, the son of Ganath. And so Tibni, and Omri, he reigned as king. In the 31 year of Asa, king of Judah, began Omri to reign, and that was 880 BC, so that was like 5 years later. All right. So it was like 885, 880. Began Omri to reign over Israel 12 years. 6 years reigned he in Tirzah. All right. And now this is the point why he was ruling. And he bought the hill Samaria of Shemer. So, all right, so this one, Omri bought this land. So this was our land, man. All right, so that's the point I want to make. It was Jacob's land. It was given to us by the Lord, taken from the Canaanites, and given to us. And it was given parts of it to Jacob, and he was buying certain lands from those damn Hamites. All right, giving parcels of land for his children, Jacob to Joseph, Joseph to Ephraim and Manasseh. And later on, Omri, who became king in the 8th century BCE, he wound up buying that land called Samaria, so that whole area, all right? But he made it a capital right here called, also known as Sebasti or Samaria, okay? So that became the capital of that area of the northern tribe. So now, and he bought the hill, verse 24, 1 Kings 16:24, and he bought the hill, Samaria of Shemer, for 2 talents of silver, and built on the hill, and called the name of the city which he built after the name of Shemer, owner of the hill, Samaria. All right, so he bought that land from somebody, I guess, named Shemer. And that name Samaria just means watchtower. So that was like the capital. All right. So I just want to get some understanding, so it don't seem like an Assyrian country. You know what it is? It was Israel. It was given to us. But a lot of those Hamites had that land, parts of that land, and Omri bought it as king. But it says this. But Omri, he wrought evil in the eyes of the Lord, and did worse than all that were before him, man. All right, so ultimately they got kicked out of that land and destroyed and exiled. I got to go into that too. So let's get back to the story dealing with the woman at the well. All right. Let's go back to John. You don't want to go there with me or whatever. All right, let's go back to John chapter 4. Again, just to get some understanding on it. Now you got the basis and the foundation, knowing that that land was ours, but it was taken from us by the Assyrians. All right. So let's get into it. And Yahushua knew this. He was wise, man. So John 4:3. So he left Judea and departed again into Galilee. Let's go back to the map. Left Judea and going to Galilee. And he must needs go through Samaria. Then cometh he to a city of Samaria, which is called Sychar, near to the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. Makes sense now, right? Now Jacob's well was there. All right, so that's what Jacob's well is at, right there in Sychar, or Sychar, or whatever you call it. All right, or now it says here, or in Shechem, and it says, now Jacob's well was there. Yahushua, therefore, being wearied with his journey. See, he needed rest, man. All right, he was in the flesh, you know. Saith thus on the well, so he sat on the well. So like he sat on the well and leaned back and was chilling, and that was odd for a woman to be out that early getting water. All right, so it was a reason for all that. So now, where was I at? I lost my spot. Okay, and it was about the 6th hour, so that was the 3rd hour of the day is about 9 o'clock in the morning. So the 6th hour would be 12 noon, all right, high noon. So it was hot. And Yahushua was traveling, so he stopped near the water, the well. All right. And there cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Okay, so now what does that mean? A woman of Samaria, that means she was living in that land. All right. That does not mean she was an Israelite, and I'm going to prove it. So then there cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Yahushua saith unto her, give me to drink. All right, so he told her, yo, give me some of that water. He was thirsty. For his disciples were gone away unto the city to buy meat, right? Because usually they could have got it for him, or he could have got it himself, but he's a king, man. But anyway, but they usually would have got the water for him. Then saith the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou, being a Jew, asketh drink of me? See, which am a woman of Samaria. See that? She was being slick. She knew that she was a Samaritan woman and she wasn't an Israelite. She wasn't a Jew. All right, Jew was basically a synonymous word for Israel. All right. So now, where was it at? Samaria. For the Jews have no dealing with the Samaritans. All right. And now you know, because also you had a split between Israel around I think it was 931 BC. All right. With Jeroboam and Rehoboam. You see that? So they were beefing with each other. But this is deeper than that, than two tribes beefing. This is about the Samaritans, meaning these heathens that crept into our land. The Jews ain't want nothing to do with them. All right, just like Herod tried to creep in after he was a Jew, but he was really an Edomite. And John Hyrcanus didn't want nothing to do with Herod Antipater. All right, just like the Samaritan woman, the Lord ain't want nothing to do with her really, and and her people. And she knew that she was a Samaritan, which means she was just from that land. All right. For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. Now let's get into that real quick. Why did the Jews hate the Samaritans? All right. They ain't hate all of Israel, after a while. Especially when we were called back to that land with Cyrus the Great. So what was the reason the Jews hated the Samaritans? Let's get into it now. All right, so this is going to explain it right here, man. And this is going to show you that she was one of them damn heathens. And Yahushua knew that. All right? And those heathens was trying to cling to our people. 2 Kings 17:23. Until Yahweh, no, start from 22. For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, all right, the northern tribe, Ephraim. Jeroboam was from Ephraim, which he did. They departed not from them. All right, so the northern tribe, Ephraim was sinning. The rest of the tribes was sinning because they were the chief house of the northern tribe, just like Judah was of the southern kingdom. All right, so they were being wicked until Yahweh removed Israel out of his sight. So in that land of Samaria, right, the Lord removed Israel out of Samaria. You see that? So that whole land was given to us. Now we had plots of land that was given. Omri, he bought it, you know. But the thing is that the Lord, he said what? He removed us, the northern tribes, he removed them out of his sight, man. And the king of Assyria brought men. What did he do? Who was this? This king was Salmanassar the fifth. If you want to write that down, it was Salmanassar the fifth. All right, that's the one that did this in 2 Kings 17-24. That exiled us. Okay, he exiled the northern tribe. All right. So now, and the king of Assyria, Salmanassar the fifth, the son of Tiglath-Pileser, and the father of Sargon II. All right. It says the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon and from Cuthoth and from Avah and from Hamath and from Sepharvaim. And what did he do? He placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. Instead of the children of Israel. All right. So he placed heathens in our land instead of us. And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. So now you see why people didn't want nothing to do with them. And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there that they feared not the Lord. They just moved in there. They was doing the heathen type stuff, the heathen practices and worshiping their idols, and they didn't care about the Lord at all. But check this out. The Most High got fear from them. Watch this. Therefore, Yahweh sent lions among them, which slew some of them. All right, so the Lord would send lions on these heathens. So he got fear from them, but he didn't get worship or praise from them. Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria. So they went to the king of Assyria. They went to Salmanassar the fifth. The nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of the God of the land. Therefore, see, they didn't know Yahweh, these heathens that moved into the land. And that's what Yahweh Shah was saying to this woman. Salvation is of the Jews. We know who we worship. Because they didn't know Yahweh. They just was in our land and being like us, just like the fake Jews today. Know not the manner. So they know these people that moved into the land of Samaria, all those heathen nations, man, at their names, man. So you don't know what nation she was from. All right. It said the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, from Cuthoth, from Avah, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. All right. On the plots of land that Jacob had and all of that. And Joseph. And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there that they feared not Yahweh. Therefore Yahweh sent lions among them, which slew some of them. Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, the nations that thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria, talking about them heathen nations, they know not the manner of Yahweh, the God of the land. Therefore he hath sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the power of the land, the God of the land. Then the king of Assyria, Salmanasar the fifth, commanded, saying, carry thither one of the priests whom ye brought from thence. See? So he brought in a priest, or puppet priest, to go into that land and teach those heathens of our ways. Look at that. And let them go and dwell there, and let him teach them the manner of the God of the land. See that? And that woman, that Samaritan woman, she was most likely a descendant of one of these Assyrians or these heathen nations that were taught by this priest at that time, man. You know, and it trickled down through their bloodlines. So she's one of them people that's going to say one day their fathers have inherited lies. All right. Then one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt in Bethel, and taught them how they should fear Yahweh. Howbeit, see, they didn't serve the Lord correctly. Watch this. Howbeit, every nation they made gods of their own, and put them in the houses of the high places which the Samaritans had made, every nation in their cities wherein they dwelt, man. So the original Israelites that built the areas, these heathens was living there, and they put up all their idols in those areas, man. You know, but they were afraid of Yahweh at that time. And the men of Babylon made the Succoth, Benob, these are idols. All right, these are the idols that they built. Verse 32. So this woman was most likely worshiping these idols, claiming to be worshiping Yahweh. So they feared Yahweh. See, they feared Yahweh, and made unto themselves of the lowest of them priests of the high places. So they found the lowest of our nation and lifted them up to be priests, just like these priests today, man, in churches. The lowest scum of our nation. And they lifted them up and made them priests over these heathens to teach them of our ways. It says, which sacrifice for them in the houses of the high places. See, and our wicked priests, our priest at that time that was chosen for this, would go in there and do their sacrifices, man. Look at that. They feared Yahweh and served their own gods at the same time, after the manner of the nations whom they carried away from thence. All right? So the same way Israel was doing. So it was no difference. You know? It was no difference. Israel claimed to be serving the Lord with their mouth, but in heart they wasn't worshiping the Lord. Unto this day they do after the former manners. See that? They fear not Yahweh, neither do they after their statutes, or after their ordinances, or after the law and commandment which Yahweh commanded the children of Jacob, whom he named Israel. So Yahweh knew this, man. He knew that there were heathens in that land, and they were mingled amongst our people, you know. He still had some of our nation over there. He said the lowest of our nation. So so now, with that being said, so we see clearly that Salmanasar the fifth took the northern kingdom out of that land in Samaria, which was mainly full of Ephraim and Manasseh. So they took them out of that land, exiled them into Assyria, called all these other nations there, and then set up a puppet priest to teach these nations and to sacrifice for them. Look at that. Now let's get into the story, because matter of fact, I got one more I want to get, because I'm gonna show you why the Israelites were angry with these heathens, man. All right, so I'm gonna read this first, Sirach 17:17, because those nations, they were doing what they were commanded to do by the Lord, because they were worshiping idols, but they feared the Most High. All right, Sirach 17:17, for in the division of the nations of the whole earth he set a ruler over every people. So he set a ruler or idols over every person. But Israel is the Lord's portion. All right, Yahweh Shai, that's our king. That's our God. So every nation has a king and they have a idol over them that they worship, man, different idols. But us, we belong to Yahweh Shai. All right, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right. So those nations, they worshiping all those idols that they were brought up under. And the Samaritan woman was doing that the same. All right. Second Ezra 13 and 40. Those are the 10 tribes, see, the northern kingdom, which were carried away prisoner out of the land, out of their own land. See, that land belonged to them, but the Assyrians took it. All right, because our people was being wicked. Out of their own land in the time of Hoshea the king. And Hoshea the king was the king of Ephraim when Israel fell in 722 BC. All right, they took him captive around 720 or 721. When they exiled us completely from 722 to 720. All right, and it was Salmanassar the fifth and his brother. It wasn't his son. His brother, I think it was. Or nephew, his brother, Sargon II, he took all the credit for it. All right, that's why you hear in history that Sargon took us down and exiled us. No, it's really Salmanassar V, and he the one that put all those heathens in our land, in the land of Samaria. All right, mind you, Samaria just meant a lighthouse or watchtower, named by Omri, king of Israel. All right, so he was a wicked kingdom, but it's still our people. So those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoner out of their own land in the time of Hoshea the king. All right, king of Ephraim, whom Salmanassar the king of Assyria, see, Salmanassar V, he led away captive. It goes perfectly with that scripture in 2 Kings. And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. And that was talking about to Assyria. All right. But later on, they came over here to Americas. All right. Around, if you do the research, it was around the 3rd century AD. All right. So it was a lot that happened before that, because even though they were scattered out of that land during the time of Cyrus the Great, after he took down Babylon, 539 BC, or around 540 all the way to 539, he put out an edict in 538 for Israel to return back to Jerusalem, to the land of Canaan, basically. All right, Jerusalem, Samaria, and all of that. So what happened when the Lord put the spirit on Cyrus to put that edict for us to come back to our lands? The northern kingdom went back to the land of Samaria, and they saw those heathens there, man. And the heathens, mind you, they were taught. they thought they were one of us now. They were taught by our priests, man. So they like, yo, we can be down with y'all, right? Check this out. I'm gonna get it. All right, so let's get into it real quick, man. Second, this is Ezra, the prophet, also known as Elder. You know, around 452, he was coined as Elder over Israel. And around 538, Zerubbabel was coined as governor over Israel by Cyrus the Great. And he commissioned him to help with the restoration and building of Israel. All right. So this is Ezra 4:1. Now when the adversaries, when the adversaries, see that we went back into that land. Let me see if it's right here, maybe. No, I ain't gonna say too much, because we had come back to that land. They started preparing to build the foundation. You know, in 536, In 535, they built the actual altar, but then they began to build, and they were stopped. The building process was stopped by these heathens, man. They was hating on us, and you had an imposter king that stepped in power, named Bardia, all right, also known as Smyrna. All right, so the true king that was supposed to be in power, I think it was Bardia, but it was imposter, which was a Chaldean that snuck in power and held up the building process. So it was shut down all the way up until Darius the Persian killed this imposter king, because he wasn't a Persian. That's the whole Persian bloodline stuff. So now let's keep going. I'll get more understanding on that in a second. Verse 2. Then they came to Zerubbabel. Let me read it again. Now when the adversaries, so these were adversaries in the land, man. So what was that woman at the well? She was an adversary. Now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin, all right, heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto Yahweh, the God of Israel. See, they heard about it, and they're like, "Oh man, let's go down there." So they thought they were God's people now. Then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers, and said unto them, "Let us build with you." So that's like the woman at the well. She was like, "Yo, our fathers built this." He was like, "Yo, let us build with you." But mind you, Zerubbabel knew about those heathens being put in our land and being taught by our priests. All right? It says what? "Let us build with you, for we seek your God." We seek your God as ye do. Look at that. So they wanted to be like us. And they knew that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is our God, not theirs. And Yahushua knew that when he was talking to this woman. "For we seek your God as ye do, and we do not and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Assyria." So they've been doing sacrifice, which brought us up hither. All right. So these are the children and descendants of those people that went into the land. So there's all kind of different nations, man, and heathenistic nations that was in that land that was keeping some of our customs, taught by our puppets of our priests, and they was raised up ever since Esarhaddon, and I think he was around 681 BC. All right, the son of Sennacherib. Sennacherib, he set up garrisons in Israel too, man, and in Assyria. He set up his soldiers there. So Sennacherib, he married a Jake woman named Nakwaya. See, our people was all mingled through there. So a lot of the Sumerians are Israelites, and a lot of them was heathens. But the Lord knew that this woman was a heathen, all right? Now, a lot of Samaritans woke up to the truth because a lot of those were Israelites. But this woman specifically, he was saying that salvation is for Israel. That's the point. It's not for you damn heathens, all right? So ever since Esarhaddon, they was trying to serve the Lord, but they can't because they're heathens. They're not going to do it correctly. They was serving their idols as well. But Zerubbabel and Jeshua, all right, check this out. These were the two that were really commissioned with the rebuilding of the temple. All right, I think Jeshua was the son of Zadok the priest. But Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chiefs of the fathers of Israel, they said unto them, "Ye have nothing to do with us. Ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our God. But we ourselves together will build unto Yahweh our power, as King Cyrus the king of Persia have commanded us. Then, so they knew it, man. The same thing Yahushua said to that woman. You ain't got nothing to do with us, man. Salvation is of Israel, of the Jews. Then the people of the land, what did they do? They started hating. They weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in the building, man. So that's why they hated them damn Samaritans, man. They hated them so much. Who was that? James, Peter, some other. I gotta go to it. They wanted to call fire down and burn their asses up, but Yahushua had to teach them like, yo, y'all not in the right spirit, because a lot of them are Israelites. All right, even though that's the heathens, I know about the past, but a lot of those are Israelites. It's gonna take the spirit to sift them out. All right, so I'm gonna go into that Yahweh Ratazah as well too. How much time I got? I'm on 45, kind of. So now, so that's understood, right? We had the land, Samaria. It was given to Jacob. He bought it. You know, gave portions of it to Joseph. Joseph to Ephraim, Manasseh. Later on, bought again by Omri, the king, in the 8th century. And later on, it was taken by the Assyrians, and they gave it to these heathens. The heathen brought in puppet preachers from our nation to teach them of our ways. And they served idol gods, and they feared them, tried to act like they was fearing the Lord at the same time. And when it came time for us to return to that land, those heathens were there, and they wanted to build with us. And they told them the same thing Yahushua told this woman. Let's go back to it. Actually, before I do that, I want to get into the story of how they held up the building process, you know? And Haggai, he wrote about that. He was around during that time of that when they held this up from building, around the time of Bardia, or they call it Smyrna, which was an imposter. And that was around 525, I think it was, when what was his name? Cambyses. Been a while, man. But anyway, the son of Cyrus the Great. Let me see who that is. I think it was Cambyses, just to be safe. Cyrus the Great. Right? His son, yeah, Khan. All right, Khan. So his son Cambyses the second, right? He ruled till about 525. And he left on a conquest, and some say that he killed his own brother, you know. But, and then that's when that guy Bardia he kind of snuck in there, and they, you know, kind of dishing out orders and told everybody to stop building. And then Darius the Persian, not Darius the Mede, that's a different one, but Darius the Persian, he fought against this guy Smyrna and killed him because he was an imposter. He wasn't a Persian. And that's how Darius the Persian got into power. All right, 522. Then you read Zechariah, which was written in the second year of Darius' rule, 520. And then that's when the Israelites that were being held up from building the temple, they went to Darius and said, yo, your father told us to build, man. And y'all being Persians, y'all not supposed to change your laws. You're supposed to stick to it. And that's when he commissioned us to build again. All right, so now let's get into that real quick with Haggai. So this is Haggai 1 and 2. Thus speaketh Yahweh of hosts, saying that this people, the time is not come, the time that Yahweh's house shall be built. All right, so it's being held up. Then came the word of Yahweh by Haggai the prophet, saying, it is time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lying waste. Now therefore, thus saith Yahweh the power, consider your ways. Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye have not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm, just like in America. And he that earneth wages to put into a bag with holes. All right? So, basically, the Lord was saying at that time, it wasn't time for us to build it, all right? Because the building was being held up. Go up to the mountain and bring wood and build the house, and I will take pleasure in it, and I will be glorified, saith Yahweh. All right, so check this out. See that? So we were being held up in the beginning during this time, but then the Lord sent Haggai to tell him it's not time. But then he said, all right, now it's time to go ahead and build it. All right. In the second year of Darius the king, in the 6th month, in the first day of the month, so it was 520 BC, just like Zechariah, came the word of Yahweh by Haggai, the prophet, unto Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah. See, he was governor by Cyrus the Great. And to Joshua, or Jeshua, which is also known as Joshua, the son of Jozadak, which would be Zadok the priest, the high priest, all right, saying, thus speaketh Yahweh of hosts, saying, this people say, or they're saying it, the time has not come, the time that Yahweh's house should be built, right? Because it was in ruins, man. They had the foundation built, everything ready to go. They had the altar built. They started laying the foundation, and then this imposter stepped in and held us up. So the Lord was saying, all right, now go ahead and start building it again. And the Lord destroyed that imposter king, had Darius set up, and started rocking. So those are adversaries, man. And the Lord knew that about this woman's history. All right. So now let's get to the rest of the story. John 4:9. Then saith the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou, being a Jew, askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? You understand now? She was a heathen that was in that land. Even though we had Israelites over there, which believed later, but watch what they say to her. They're going to say, we don't believe because of you. See, that's the spirit. Watch this. For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. Now you understand why. Because they know that they were heathens and they stole their land from us, man. All right? And they tried to help us build, and Zerubbabel and them was like, nah, get out of here. You don't have nothing to do with us. So Yahushua answered and said unto her, now even if you had Israelites mingled amongst those Samaritans at that time, they were still in that heathenistic state of mind, the wicked ones. The woman saith unto him, Sir, thou hast not... So like, let me go back up. Yahushua answered and said unto her, if thou knewest the gift of Yahweh, and who it is that saith to thee, give me to drink, thou wouldest have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water. And the woman saith unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou this living water? Art thou greater than our father Jacob, who gave us the well, and drank thereof himself, and his children, and his cattle? See, she tried to bring Jacob into the mix like she was from Jacob. No, that was not her forefather. She was just in that land, and her people have inherited lies thinking they were from there. She was the children of those people that took our land under the Assyrians and that learned our customs. All right, so we want to help you build. We want to help you. Okay, so now we ain't got to go into the part about our husbands. Let's get into this real quick. There you go. It says, verse 19. The woman saith unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. All right. Our fathers worshipped in this mountain. That makes sense, right? He said, yo, we want to serve your God with you. We want to build with you. They ain't know how to serve the Most High, so they called in sellouts of our nation that went in there and taught those people, man. So they call themselves worshiping the Father, but not correctly. Just like them fake Jews over there today in our land. So Yahushua, he knew this, man. All right. So she was really a devil. So Yahushua said unto her, woman, no, verse 20, our fathers worshipped in this mountain, and ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship. Right. He was saying to her, like, it's not your people. You know, you might not get it, but it's for Israel. Yahushua said unto her, woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. Ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews, right? So she ain't gonna be able to go anywhere in the mountains or in Jerusalem to worship, because it's not for them. They ain't gonna be able to have no place in the altar and all that, you know, where they can try to take our land and act like they keeping our ways, keeping the Father's ways. You know, it's gonna be a spiritual worship, and it's only for Israel. That's why people like vocab can't get it. Ye worship, ye know not what. See that? That's why he said, we know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. All right, I'm going to go back again. Ezra 4:2. Then they came to Zerubbabel, to the chief of the fathers, and said unto them, let us build with you, for we seek your God, as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Assyria, which brought us up hither. All right, because the Lord told her, yeah, ye know not what ye worship, man. 2 Kings 17 and 25. No, right, 24. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon and from Cuthah and from Avah and from Hamath and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. See that? So he placed men there that had children, you know, their seed, right? And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. And so it was at the beginning of their dwellings there that they feared not Yahweh. Therefore Yahweh sent lions among them, which slew some of them. See that? Not all of them. They still was there. Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, Salmanassar the fifth, saying, the nations which thou hast removed, the Israelites, and placed in the cities of Samaria, Salaki, those heathens that they removed from around the world and brought them to Samaria, they know not the manner of the God of the land. See, Yahushua was telling her that. Ye know not what ye worship, because they know not the manner of the God of the land. Therefore he hath sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the God of the land. All right, so yeah, man. So they still didn't worship the Lord correctly. Howbeit, every nation made gods of their own, and put them in the houses of high places, which the Samaritans had made, every nation in their city wherein they dwelt. All right, so they worship all these idols, and they call themselves fearing the Lord. So yeah, man. Verse 33, they feared Yahweh and served their own gods after the manner of the nations whom they carried away from thence. All right, John 4 and 22, ye worship ye know not what. He was telling this woman that we know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. All right, so Israel. So we worship in the correct way. But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers, the true worshipers is going to worship in spirit and in truth. The Israelites shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father seeketh such to worship him. Only of Israel, though. All right, but we were scattered everywhere. You know, the Lord said that. You know, I'm not even going to get it, but we were scattered everywhere. You can read that in Isaiah chapter 11. The woman saith unto him, I know that the Messiah cometh, which is called the Anointed. When he comes, he will tell us all things, man. So she knew about the prophecies probably from hearing it. And Yahushua saith unto her, I that speak unto thee am he. And upon this came his disciples and marveled that he talked with the woman, yet no man said, what seekest thou, or why talkest thou with her? Now look at the point. Because the Lord was trying to teach him right here. You know, so I may go into something else, man, dealing with this. All right, so I'm gonna stop here because I'm running out of time on here. I'm already at an hour. But I might do a spinoff of this dealing with in the way of the Samaritan enter ye not, you know, because the Lord was setting up a priesthood that would go teach to these Samaritans, man, which were Israelites that were mingled amongst the heathens in Samaria. All right, so she went and ran and told them. Here you go. Verse 39, and many of the Samaritans of that city believed on him for the saying of the woman. See, she ran around, became a mouthpiece, which testified, he told me all that ever I did. So when the Samaritans were come unto him, that don't mean she was righteous because she knew that. Like, you know, scripture said that if he sent you to the heathens, they would believe. So when the Samaritans were come unto him, they besought him that he would tarry with them, and he abode there 2 days. All right, so there was some Israelites over there as well. And many more believed because of his own word, and said unto the woman, now we believe. All right, because there were Israelites mingled amongst those Samaritans, but she was a heathen, and the Yahushua spotted her. He said, yo, you a heathen. Nah. But yeah, there's some Israelites out here. All right. He said there's some sheep that's not of this fold, and he got to teach them also. He was talking about amongst Samaria and all over the world. And he said unto the woman, now we believe. These men of Samaria, they said, now we believe, not because of thy sayings. They were talking to the woman, not because of you, not because of this heathen, for we have heard him ourselves, and now that this, and know that this is indeed the Messiah, the Savior of the world. All right. So yeah, man, I might do a spinoff of this because, you know, Yahushua said, into the way of the Samaritans enter ye not. But later on, you can see him teaching out there and waking people up, just like right here. All right, because you had Israelites that were mingled in that land ever since Zerubbabel, ever since Cyrus, Jacob, and ever since Salmanassar the fifth. All right, we were mingled in those lands, you know. All right, with those heathens. Just like on this earth today, we're mingled, but the spirit is doing the sifting. All right, so I'm gonna get two precepts. 2 Timothy 2:19. Nevertheless, I'm gonna get this real quick. All right, 2 Timothy 2:19. Nevertheless, the foundation of Yahweh standeth sure, having this seal. All right, the only one that can be sealed is the children of Israel, according to Revelation chapter 7. All right, the Lord knoweth them that are his, man. See, he knows who are his and who are not his, even of the children of Israel. He knows who is the elect. All right. Yahushua even said it. He said, yo, I'm the one that chose the 12 disciples. And he said, shoot, one of them is a devil. So Yahushua knew Judas was a devil. He already knew everything that was about to happen. So the Lord knows the spirit of man. All right. He knew that woman was a heathen. Just like today, we try the spirit by the spirit. All right. So that are his, and let everyone that nameth the name of Yahushua depart from iniquity. All right. So, all right. So, I guess I'll open up the next topic dealing with this scripture here, because even amongst the Samaritans, Yahushua had to tell the disciples, yo, chill out. You know, you want to burn them up and kill them, but a lot of those are Israelites, all right? And but you gotta wait until it was time, all right? Yahushua had miracles he had to do. He had certain men that he was sent to wake up first. He said to the Jews first, then to the Gentiles, the Israelite Gentiles. All right, John 3:8. The wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof, but canst not tell whence it cometh, and whither it goeth. So is every one that is born of the Spirit, man. Because 1 minute you might just see them as heathens, even today. You got the speckled bird, but amongst that, you're going to have Israelites just popping up like the grass, you know. And so that happened back then too, even amongst Samaria. You know, you had the heathens, then you had Israelites that were waking up there. All right, the spirit is like the wind, you know. So let me get one more, because the Lord can reap. He's an austere man, and he also can reap where he didn't sow. Let me get this real quick. Let me get this. Matthew 13 and 25, because even today you have tares in the wheats. You have Israelites, and then you have heathens mixed in. You know, and you have a melting pot. Everybody looking like each other, mingled. You know, even amongst Israel, you got wicked jakes acting like they righteous. Matthew 13 and 25. All right. It says this. No, 24. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. All right. Yahushua created good seed on this earth, which would be Israelites, ultimately the elect. But while men slept, while Israelites were sleeping, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way, just like the Assyrians did. When we went off, we were removed from that land, and the Assyrians took over that land and put heathens there. All right, just like today, you got heathens trying to act like us. But when the blade, but while the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, there appeared the tares also. So right now, just like in real life, on a field, you'll see tares and wheat. They look the same as they're small, but when they grow up, you can tell the difference, all right, between the tare and the wheat. Okay? So now, right now, you see all these different philosophies, everything's set in place, like a flower bed. But now what's growing up all the way into the day of salvation is the righteous and also the wicked is growing, all right, to be burned and judged. But the elect are growing as well. All right, so he said what? So the servant of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then have it tares? And he said unto them, An enemy have done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? All right. So that would be like the Black Panthers trying to go out and save their people, and they killing their own people because they not the same color. All right. Or like when Yahushua told them brothers, they said, should we call fire down from the sky and burn them up from stopping you from going through Samaria to get to Galilee or to Judea? And he said, no, man, you don't know what spirit you in. You know, you ain't in the spirit of reaching out for the Jews and the Gentiles, the Israelite Gentiles, Israelite foreigners, scattered amongst those Samaritans. All right, so he said what? So the Lord is still in that same spirit today. But he said, nay, lest lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them, man. All right, matter of fact, I'm gonna get that real quick. All right, I'm gonna try to read this real quick. Luke 9 and 51. And it came to pass when the time was come that he should be received up, he steadfastly set his face to go to Jerusalem. All right. So he knew Yahweh was about to give his life for Israel and be taken to the spirit realm. And he knew that his spirit was going to be sent out, man, and ultimately set the foundation for people like Paul that was sent to the Gentiles, the Israelites, Israelite foreigners. Luke 9, and ultimately he had to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua had to edify Peter on this as well with Cornelius. And it came to pass, verse 52, and he sent messengers before his face, and they went and entered into a village of the Samaritans to make ready for him. All right, so he had some Israelites there, and scattered amongst the Samaritans. And they did not receive him. Whoa, so you had some heathens there too. That they knew that he was about to try to rebuild. They knew he was building, man. They ain't know what, though. But they knew it wasn't for them ever since the Zerubbabel. They're like, oh, he's trying to go there and build up his people. Or they probably thought he was trying to build the temple. Or build his people. How about that? Free his people. Because the temple was in place at this time. And they did not receive him, man, because his face was as though he would go to Jerusalem. All right? It's crazy, right? So the Samaritans had nothing to do with the Jews, and the Jews didn't want nothing to do with the Samaritans, the heathen Samaritans. But you had Israelite foreigners living amongst Samaria as well. And when his disciples, James and John, they saw this, that the Samaritans didn't receive Yahushua, they said, Lord, wilt thou that we command fire to come down from heaven and consume them, just like Elijah did? See that? That's a lot of jakes today. They want to destroy every damn thing because they're in this truth. But I can't wait, man. I'm going to burn everybody up. You don't want to save nobody? All right, heal somebody? But he turned and rebuked them and said, ye know not what manner of spirit ye are of, man. All right, so they just didn't know what the hell was going on. Yahweh Shai, just because he rebuked that woman at the well, doesn't mean he was still not sent to those Israelites amongst Samaria. For the Son of Man is not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them. And they went to another village. All right, so yeah, man. So it was set up later. The Lord sent men through the Spirit into Samaria to teach them as well under Paul. All right. So I think I'm ended there, man. But the woman at the well was definitely a heathen. All right. It just what tribe was she from? She was from one of them tribes that I read about in 2 Kings. But the Lord rejected her. But there was still some people of Samaria that woke up that were Israelites. All right, so but yeah, she was a heathen though. That was in that land and learned the customs of our people, but she can never be an Israelite. Period. She can never have part in that inheritance that was given to Jacob. All right, so with that, I'm gonna say shalom.